and on my Facebook. And the reason for this impromptu live broadcast is the craziness of the NCAA when it comes to recruiting, especially for the class of 2021, with another extension of the dead period. I had heard rumblings, dead period was going to be extended through October. Gave hope for those in the class of 2021 to be able to get, maybe visit some schools at the Division I, FBS, FCS level. And come November, early December, before the signing period. Instead, today, this evening, the NCAA extended the dead period until January 1st, which would be after the December signing period. And give me a second as I bring this up on my screen. And we'll show you exactly what we're talking about. D1 Council extends recruiting dead period. No in-person recruiting can take place through the end of the year. This was dated today, September 16th, 2020, 7:10 p.m. And basically says the Division I Council extended the recruiting dead period through January 1st. The council has been reviewing the dead period on a regular basis since April. Dead period precludes all in-person recruiting. Phone calls and correspondence can continue to occur. Members also adopted emergency legislation prohibiting schools from giving complimentary game tickets to student athletes, the high school or two-year college coaches during the dead period. It goes on, while the council acknowledges and appreciates the growing desire to resume in-person recruiting by selected coaches, associations, council members ultimately concluded the primary concern right now must be protecting the current student athletes on our campuses. And that came from Council Chair M. Grace Calhoun, athletic directors at Pennsylvania. We encouraged our coaches to interact with prospective student athletes virtually in this time period, which is what they've been doing. And the decision to implement the dead period was first made at the onset of the COVID-19 crisis. And the council has continued to extend the dead period under the guidance of medical experts. The majority of coaches associations also support the extension of the dead period. And I just kind of want to let that sink in a little bit, because if you've talked to any kids in the 2021 recruiting class, this has been very stressful. They were, they understand. They lost basically the period in the spring for evaluation. They lost summer camps. Some places, Ohio, where I'm based out of, did get a football season started, even though there were some schools and so forth that, and conferences and leagues that did not start right away. In fact, this weekend, we see the starting of the student athletes at the high school level of Dayton Public Schools and in Cincinnati Public Schools being able to take the field for the first time this year. And, but I mean, when you start talking about recruiting, coaches have not been able to leave campus at the Division I, Division II level, but Division III schools, they've been hosting kids on campus. They've had kids on campus. They're practicing all the social distancing that you need to do. And it's very frustrating that you can't, trust what's going on with your coaches at the D1 level, D2 levels, where the NCAA felt that you can't bring a kid on campus. And they, not like it would be a mass bringing of kids to campus. They would bring in select kids, keep the social distancing the way they want to keep it. And it's very disheartening, because it's like, what do you tell kids in the 2021 class? And that basically have seen some of them their hopes and uh, dreams of earning a scholarship maybe go away. And I really feel that this is very. I can't imagine being a parent, let alone the high school student athlete. And I want to stress, coaches are still looking at film, and we understand that you get into some of the situations. There's coaches out there who um, are going through this. They're watching all the film they can watch. Some have reached out. Some of the classes recruit. I've talked to some college coaches at the Division I level. They're full. They're done for 2021, but they're looking at kids for possible walk-ons. And you have the kid who's always the late bloomer. Those guys who would be finding the hidden gems of a recruiting class. Will they get their opportunity? We've seen a lot of D1, the non-scholarship programs like in the Pioneer League and the Ivy still be recruiting, but they're not giving out athletic scholarships. And then D2, even some D2 schools I've spoken with, they've kind of stopped their recruiting because we're still waiting on what the NCAA is going to do with an expanded roster, as they've given eligibility to the kids who are already on campus. We understand that aspect, but can some of the universities even afford to have more student athletes on scholarship than they normally would have? I just, if you have comments, if you post them here, I do get them. If you post here on the Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitter, I will see them. And this is just frustrating. I just, like I said, I stress the frustration. I can just imagine some young men out there feeling very stressed because of this news. And I just, I find it very disheartening, to say the least. And I don't know. Like I said, I've got it scheduled to go up on the on Facebook, but there might be an issue with Facebook, is what I'm being told. And waiting to see here if it's even showing up on the Facebook. It may not be. Give me a second here to look. Yeah, I'm not seeing it showing up. So I guess we're not at live on Facebook right now, but we are on Twitter. I'm making sure, pulling that up. Yeah. So I mean, it's. I won't be going on very long. I just, like I said, I wanted to bring it on. I just want to understand the thought process of how you've got a kid can make a college decision on a virtual tour if they've never visited a campus before, never had personal interaction, maybe with a coach. Maybe they only met a coach one time. And I mean, it's you get into, we talk about recruiting. It's like dating. It's a marriage. It's a commitment. And we're expecting young people to make decisions based on virtual tours, based on basically just video conferencing calls, not interaction that are live, where you have a chance to look a person in the eye and get more of a feeling of who that person is. So I'm not going to keep you. I just wanted to kind of put that out there. It was very frustrating to see this news tonight. Like I said, I had heard and I have told people that basically the dead period, I pretty much was assured that was going to be extended through October. And I thought, okay, come November, you have basically a month there of weekends where you can bring a young person onto campus, do it the right way. I understand not giving game tickets with now, this week, the Big Ten, as of today, the big news was the Big Ten coming back. But I understand not bringing kids in for a game. Totally understand that. If you're not letting fans in most games, I understand not bringing a recruit in. But at the same time, to allow a person, a young man, mom and dad, to come up, get on campus, sit down, social distance, and sit down with a coach and be able to look each other in the eye, discuss a possibility of a future at a university, I think is very important. And not to see that happening, um, you know. And I see you, Ricky. I agree with you. 2021 had basketball cut short, and no baseball, 6 football games. Now this. I agree with you, Ricky. I've known Ricky since he was in high school, and I agree. If you're a football player or an athlete, any sport, any student athlete right now, going through what you're going through, stay positive. Control what you can control. Go out, do everything you can for your team, put together the best film you can put together, and remember that you're not alone in this, that every student athlete out there is going through the same thing right now. You're not the only one. But again, I think the NCAA just sometimes the fight to get the Big Ten back on. And at the same time, I can't believe there is not a way to bring in a controlled circumstance, bring in a kid, a mom or a dad or both in for a few hours on one given day, make it unofficial. You keep the social distancing, but you show they get to see facilities to a point, keep your team separated, understand that aspect. But see enough of the facilities and go in what really matters when you get into looking at, the university, which is the academic side. But the biggest thing is, again, seeing and talking to a coach face to face, looking in their eyes, them looking in your eyes. Because I have a feeling, I was just discussing this with somebody the other day, I have a feeling that see a lot of young people making college decisions that are going to be in this 2021 recruiting class that is going to a lot of transfers. We already see transfers up because I think the way recruiting's being done, but I think it's going to be even worse for those in the 2021 class. You're going to make decisions based on a virtual tour, based on a Zoom call. Not the way it should be done. And the other thing I want to stress to the student athletes out there, that remember the dead period, in National Signing Day is just a date given by the NCAA. That's not the end of recruiting. And if you're going to extend the dead period to January 1, why don't we get rid of the dead period or the national signing period in December in this class? Move it to just the February 1. And even in there, the February signing day, that's just a date on the calendar the NCAA allows for the student athletes to sign national letters of intent. It's not the end of recruiting. So keep that in mind. So, well, enough of that. If you watched this live, appreciate it. And if you're watching it after the broadcast, you can leave your comments on Twitter, on Facebook. And again, all you guys out there playing high school football, class of 2021, keep your head up, stay positive, help your team win as many games as possible, put together solid film, and everyone stay safe. Thanks.